What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Now, in today's video, I'm going to be going over 10 trading secrets. Well, it won't be 10, but it'll be like about 5 or 6. But nonetheless, these are going to be trading secrets that are not really secrets. A lot of people do know about these, but a lot of people fail to implement them properly into their trading strategy. Now, the reason I say that is because they just don't know how to do it, or they hear about it, but they don't actually take action to do so and add it into their trading strategy. Now, nonetheless, we're going to hop on the chart right now real quick, and we're going to take a look at all these secrets and let you guys know which ones they are, as well as how to actually do them properly and effectively, right? Because you don't want to just do it half-ass and then it not work out for you, especially if you're trying to get to the point where you're getting funded with different challenge accounts, so on and so forth, or if you're scaling your regular live account. So, see you guys in the chart. So, right here in the chart, let me start off on the daily like we always do. So on the daily, first things first, we're looking at XAU by the way. Now, one of the first things that you can call a trading secret is the importance of sticking to an actual strategy. Now, I can't say this enough. A lot of people take a winning week or 2 weeks of straight wins, and they automatically think that they're the golden goose, and they think that they could just keep popping out great trades that don't have data behind them or don't have parameters in order to enter. Now, all that means is that you need to have reasoning behind your trades. If you get into a trade with no reason at all, then you should not be in that trade. So first things first, I'm going to do on my gold is do the same thing I do everywhere else, is draw support and resistance areas or supply and demand zones, just because I want to take a look at all the key levels that this pair has. Now with gold, if you traded gold before, which gold is XAUUSD, you would know that it's very sporadic and it likes doing big climbs or big drops. Now, I don't want to look too back in order to match up my data points, just for the fact that we want to go off of previous, but not too far back, right? Because we're on the daily. So this range right here is all the way from March 18th of 2022. So that's a full year. Nonetheless, you're going to see that this lines up. So what I'm going to do next is go down to the 4 hour, and the 4 hour, see what it looks like. Now, clearly, even on the daily, you can see it. We've been in a nice little uptrend for a couple weeks and months now, and that's amazing, right? Because the first thing you want to do whenever you want to look at your trading strategy is make sure that the trend is your friend and that you're trading with the trend. And that's basically what the trend is your friend means, right? Whenever you're trading with price action, you're not essentially wrong. If you could hold the position, you have proper risk management on the trade. So down to the 4 hour, identify clear trend right here. We did break out a consolidation right here. So this trade did just happen today, this long candle right here. But now what I'm gonna do is go on the 1 hour. Now you can tell that I don't really need to drop any other zones, just because the daily zone is kind of the zone that you want to stick with for this instance, because look at all the price action stuck in between it. The only thing I would add is this resistance area up here, just for the fact that that's where price kept failing to break above for a long time. Now, yep, you see this even lines up with this, but the break of structure, but then bounce back up. Now, the first thing is right, identify your key levels. That's going to be one of the trading secrets. A lot of people look at a chart and they just not flip a coin, but they kind of look at the market sentiment. If it's going up, they just want to get in 100% of the times, which it's not true. You should not be getting in off of every single instance that you think the market's going to go up or down. Now, once you identify your key levels, which could be your support resistance areas, your supply and demand zones, so on and so forth, these are just levels of interest. This is where price is reacting and where price is moving. Now, the next thing you want to do, since we already have our trend drawn up, well, we don't have it drawn up, but you can clearly see this. Actually, you know what? Some of you guys may be starting out and may not know how to draw these trend lines up. Now, what I like to do is just pick a point in time where price continued or started a new trend. Now, what you can do is I'll go back from here is the 1 hour, and then I'll just draw a line that will connect from my last, well, not my last, but my first lowest low that started the trend to my most previous or recent lowest low that was part of the trend. Let's draw this green since we are doing an uptrend. And then now I'm going to do the same thing for the high. Now, for the most part, you don't want to just try to fake it and be like all the way up here because that's not realistic. You want to draw these off of obvious, not obvious, but off of the previous high that started it all. And the reason you want to do this is this is going to be basically a trailing resistance area whenever you're in this channel. Now, you're going to see 9 out of 10 times whenever you're drawing up your trend lines, it's going to be very, very rare for price to completely break out of this trend zone and continue going up without ever retesting it or getting back into this range. Now, just because it fails to break above this trend line area, it doesn't mean that you have to. Oh, my little reminder. That was from yesterday, but my bad. Anyways, so yeah, just because it breaks out of this trend line zone, it doesn't mean that the trade is not valid or that the trend line is not valid anymore. It's still an uptrend, just for the fact that it's continuing to go up. And obviously, I'm gonna point something out for you guys that you guys probably see right here. Yes, the trend did fail to make higher highs right here, and this is when it got into this consolidation zone. I'll just draw that up for you guys. You guys can have a better look, right? Straight consolidation. Then we broke out. Then get back up, right? Just so you guys get to have a better look at that. Now, I'm going to show you guys another example, which you could call it another secret of trading, and how you could have used this as a sell if it would have played out differently, or how you could have used this as a buy signal because it got back into range. Now, usually whenever you want to trade breakouts, you want to trade to break on a retest. So look, this was a clear break of structure. It retested, but it failed to hold under this level, right? So what that shows me at that time is that price is not ready to come any lower than it was right here. Price wanted to continue pushing up because the bulls were in control of the market, and that's exactly what happened here. So what I would have done here, since this sell would not have been valid, and this is the main reason I always tell everybody, you want to react to the market and not predict the market, because a lot of people would have ended up getting in right here off of the break of structure and try to get in for a sell, but you're going to see that this sell would have stopped you out very quickly, just for the fact that that was not the overall price movement that price wanted to do. Now, again, if you'd stick to the simple logic of the trend is your friend, and you can see that if you would have just held in for a buy once price got back above the support area, you would have been perfectly fine. Now, realistically, you're not going to get in the perfect entry right here because you'd be getting in too early. You'd want to wait for the next candle to form and see price continue moving up. So this is exactly what it'd probably look like for you. And you're not going to be too greedy and be realistic. And you're going to make sure that your stop loss would be below that support area. And then, your entry would be right there on the next candle. So this would have been a nice little 1 to 4 that you could have collected, or a 1 to 3. But nonetheless, I digress on that point. That's just an example of a break and restructure or a break and retest. Now you had a break and structure, but you did hold back above this level, which just showed the overall position of where the price was going, which was back towards the upside. Now, that is one of the secrets. That's like the second secret that I mentioned. Now, another secret that a lot of people kind of rush over is the power of a good entry. When you have a really good entry, it's kind of hard to fail that trade or to use improper risk management. It's not impossible. You can still open up the wrong lot size completely, and you can screw yourself over on that. But if you don't do that, which I hope you don't do that, you want to use proper risk management, especially with all the new little risk management apps and programs and websites you can use. It could literally automatically give you your position size for whatever the trade you want to do. Now, another thing that you could do, let's say if you tell me, hey Dev, look, I missed this entry right here, but I still feel like it'd be a great buying position. What can I do? So what I would do is I would look at the next area of interest that I would possibly have in order to get back into this trade. Now, what I would do here is I'm like, okay, well, if I'm going to stick to my bullish momentum and I don't think price is going to come back down to what it was, then I have to find another level of support, another level that was a key level where price can hold above in order for me to get that confirmation where price is going to go back up. So that's where I come to my next point on this key level right here. Now you can tell that if you zoom back on the 4 hour, now we have way more key levels drawn up. And that's the beauty of going to lower time frames and identifying these areas of interest. Now, with that said, this area of interest, I would have done this line a little thicker just because I'd rather have a thick line so I can see the movement that I can catch. Now, this right here would have been almost a perfect entry. Now, let's say if you wanted to be a little safer, you would have it up here. You could essentially have got in a little earlier. Let's say you got in right there, and you had quite a bit of drawdown, not quite a bit, but a little bit of drawdown right here. That's perfectly fine, because if you pull up your long position, now we're not going to count with this, that this did break out of structure. We're just going to count with previous price action on this rejection area right here. And the main reason I'm going to say that is because you're not perfect. You're not a wizard. You're not going to be able to automatically measure like, yeah, this is going to for sure go all the way up here to the dot, right? You kind of want to know where your exit strategies are. And that's going to lead on to my next little secret for trading and being profitable, is that in reality, all the profitable traders, or at least the ones I know, don't take their TPs all the time up here. This would be yes their TP4 or TP3, however they have their trading structure broken down into, but the majority of people would have been taking profits along the way. Now, another area that you would have took a TP in, your TP1 probably would have been up here. Now let's make this a little thinner so it's easier to see. The reason I'm going to say that this is going to be your TP1 is because it breaks out of the resistance area right here, right? And obviously that's not your whole 1 to 4, but that's a 1 to 2 right there. Now another area that that most traders would most likely take profit in. Now these are probably going to be the more experienced traders, just because you have a lot of responsibility when you're trading, in the sense of whether it's your live account or a funded account. You understand that every single dollar that you can secure, it's money for you or for your business or for whatever, or for your family for that instance, right? Now the next level, or your TP2, so to speak, would most likely be around here. And the reason I'd say around here is clearly you can tell there was a lot of resistance right here, right? Look, resistance. You had resistance. You had this wick over here, resistance. So this TP right here would have been TP2. Yes, it wouldn't have been that beautiful 1 to 5 or 1 to 6, but that's 4% right there. Now this is going to be where your last TP should be, just because that's where the most resistance was the last time, and price hasn't pushed above this point in a very long time. Now, what's a very long time? Well, just go back to the 4 hour and zoom all the way back. Look how long it's been since price has been up here. Literally since April 2022. Now, those are just a couple little secrets right there. Now, if you're watching this video and it got uploaded by a miracle on time, or relatively close to the time that I'm filming this, let's just get rid of these things right here, just to make it, just so I can get your attention towards something else. Just so you guys know, I'm not like bullshitting you guys or lying to you guys on how to get these proper setups. I would also tell you, I would also firmly believe that getting in right now makes no sense. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. Let's say, whatever, we choose to get in right here. It's not the worst entry, but it's not an entry that I would want. Now, the first thing I would do is, would this trade make sense money-wise? Because in one of my last videos, I touched upon treating trading as a business. Now, when you treat trading as a business, or you treat anything as a business, you want to make sure you're profitable. You want to make sure your profit margins are there. You want to make sure that it's worth your time and money to be in this trade. So what I'm going to do is see, okay, well, what's the highest percentage I can make on this trade if everything goes great? Now, the reason I say if everything goes great is because things usually don't go perfectly planned in trading. But hey, guess what? If I know that this trade can max get me, being realistic, get me a 1 to 8, then I'm like, hey, you know what? You know what that means? That means if I stop halfway, I'm already 4%. I stop a quarter of the way, that's 2%. So I'm happy with that. That means that that's secured profit. Now, like I said, I would not get in at this current price level, because you have to understand, another secret is that the market does get exhausted. there is market exhaustion. There is a time where market takes a little bit of a break, consolidates a little bit, and then gets back on the horse and starts riding back into the direction that it wants to go. So my entry would end up being over here. So I would actually want to wait for, you already have price rejection right here, and that's not an indication that it's going to sell off, but it's an indication that the buyers are a little tired already, and the buyers don't have the momentum currently to keep pushing price up. So what I would do, wait for price to bounce back from here, and then, oh, my bad, right? Wait for price to bounce back down here and go back up. Now, in reality, what you're probably going to see is price go up, then come back down, then go up, then come back down. So you get to that level that you wanted to get to. Now, when you draw up your long position here, you're going to see that this trade right here is way more favorable. And the reason I'm going to say it's way more favorable is because look at what it does to your drawdown area. You could limit not all of it, but you could limit a good portion of the drawdown that you would possibly have just because of market uncertainty or market consolidating or trying to wick other traders out. Now, you don't want to trade like the 99% of people. You want to trade like the 1%. You want to think about, okay, well, where is the market going to go, or where institutional investors going to push price to wick traders out and secure their profit? Because you have to understand that even though it might just be 5, 10, 50 pips, you have to understand when they're on 1,000 or 10,000 lot sizes, that's a crazy amount of money that they'll make money off of just getting the wow, I ran out of words there. But getting the retail investors out of their positions. Now, once you can call it a liquidity pool as well, right? Once all those orders get filled and those people get stopped out, then there'll be immense buying pressure because that's where the optimal price is going to be, and that's what you want to plan for. Now, if we go back to the daily, I don't exactly remember where that high was. Oh, well, I guess it was all the way up there. But you saw that 1 to 8, right? Now, look what it is. It's a 1 to 15 just because I waited for the right entry. Now, this entry hasn't happened yet, but this is an entry that I am very curious in and an entry that I'll probably get into. Now, today is the second, well, the first, about to be the second, and we do have NFP Friday. So I am very cautious and knowing that I don't want to be in this trade if NFP comes around. So I would like this trade to play out tomorrow, New York session open. That way I could catch this trade, and being very realistic, I'm okay with, right, catching a 1 to 3, a 1 to 5, a 1 to 7, so on and so forth. Of course, if I want to hold the position, I probably will, but not, the chances of that won't be too high because I like averaging into my position. So I'll open up several different lot sizes, and that could be another secret. That way, you know, a lot of people run into the problem of, hey, I don't know how to take profit from my trade if I only open up one trade, one position. Now, what you could do is have a trailing stop loss. Now, there isn't any real effective tool or indicator or whatever that you could use to have your trading stop loss, but you can move it up yourself. So what I do is every single time my position is 2-3% in profit, I make sure that my stop loss is at least at 1%. So my break even is 1% in profit. So worst case scenario, the trade could do a complete 180, and I get stopped out and I already secured 1%. So I don't really care whether I lose that trade or not because essentially I'm not losing, I'm only gaining. And once you take the risk out of the trade, now the trade's perfect for you. Now there's no stress and you're just in the money the whole entire time. Now I'm going to clear this chart up because I don't like all that clutter and I kind of already know what I want to do. But the next step is, well, I already touched upon the next step, which would be your exit. And the exit is going to be moving up your TP1 to where your stop loss is. I mean, your stop loss where your TP1 is, that way you're in profit and you eliminated all the risk in that trade. And that's very, very important because now you have the freedom to walk away from the chart and do whatever else you got to do. I hope this video helped you guys out, and I hope these little secrets or little tidbits would help you implement these strategies into your trading strategy that you're currently using to prosper more and make more money off of it. Hey guys, sorry for interrupting your video, but I just wanted to let you guys know, if you guys check the link in the description, I do have a private little link right there for you guys to have direct access to me through Telegram. It's not a bot, it's not some computerized assistant or anything. It's my personal Telegram link to where you can send me messages on any questions you guys have or other topics you guys want to talk about, and I'll be more than happy
to respond to you guys. I'll try to respond to as many as you as possible. If I don't respond at the same time, just give me a couple minutes or an hour and I'll get to you accordingly. Now, also in the link in the description, I do have all the free Telegram, the Signals chat. I do have the website where I offer all the services, and I also have a direct link to the free Forex and stock market coursework as well as crypto coursework.